All right, shalom to any Israelites that may be watching this. This lesson is going to be, why did Yahweh Shai say, John came neither eating nor drinking, yet they say he has a devil? So I'm going to read the scripture in Matthew 11 and 18. For John came neither eating nor drinking, and they say he hath the devil. So what you have to understand about John the Baptist is that he was in the wilderness eating wild locusts and honey, and he was drinking water. And that's very similar to basically Daniel when he did that Daniel fast, which was when Daniel only ate fruits and vegetables, and he didn't eat any pleasurable food. So that's the same with John the Baptist. He came neither eating nor drinking, and that drinking is speaking of wine. So he came neither eating, delicate foods, and he came neither drinking wine, you know. So John came neither eating nor drinking wine, and that put him in the state of constant fasting and prayer. Okay, so because John was in a constant state of fasting and prayer to Yahweh, there was no way that he had a devil. Okay, so, but the thing is, the people looked at him as he had a devil because he was in the wilderness eating locusts and wild honey, and he was dressed all rough. He looked like a homeless man. So he was the opposite of society, okay? And, the scripture says at Matthew 11 and 8, it says, But what went ye out for to see? A man clothed in soft raiment? Behold, they that wear soft clothing are in kings' houses. So John, he was dressed all roughed up, looked homeless, and you could only imagine in this society, if somebody came, if somebody came, being homeless, preaching the gospel and stuff, people will look at you like you're crazy, So, nothing's new under the sun. Back in the ancient world, John, he preached in the wilderness, and he was outside of society. He wasn't the type to sit down, at a feast or something like that, and he did not wear soft raiment. He was not, because those who wear soft raiment, those are the people who are inhabiting the society, and they're enjoying the society, and they are living living in delicacies. And the thing is, Yahushai said he was not of this world, and his kingdom was not of this world. So John, he came to prepare the way for Yahushai, and there were people in Israel who were, dressing in nice apparel. They were feasting, they were drinking, they were, kind of rejoicing. And the message of, John was basically the message that was going to prepare the way for the Messiah. And he spoke against, the scribes and Pharisees, even before Yahushua spoke against the scribes and Pharisees. And the scribes and Pharisees, they were dressed in nice apparel. Scribes and Pharisees probably feasted and drank a lot of wine. So essentially, he was speaking out against. He was speaking out even just like Yahushua spoke against the rich, the rich in Israel, because there was a time where, riches were seen as a great and honorable thing in Israel. Um, but then as Yahushua came on the scene, he said, woe unto you that are rich. So, success in Israel, financial success in Israel meant nothing to the Most High at this point. So John was, speaking against those who were clothed in soft raiment. He spoke against the world. And the world tried to say that John had a devil. And that wasn't the case, because he was always in a state of fasting and praying to the Most High. So when you're in a state of fasting and praying to the Most High at the level that John the Baptist was, he was constantly being filled with the Spirit. And, people were saying all types of things about him. And you can imagine that, in a society like this, this is an example I could give in Babylon, is these these kids out here who, go to college, parents see that as a righteous thing. Parents see that as a righteous thing in Babylon, that their child goes to college and they get a good job and they dress in fine clothes. Because you have to remember that Babylon, it says that this place, it's clothed in fine linen. And, it says those who wear soft raiment are in kings' houses. So essentially in Babylon, if you get a little bit of money, you're kind of living like a little king, like a mini king. And that's for and that's for people who get a little success in Babylon. And I'm not even talking about a lot. I'm talking about, because how the poor jakes in Babylon are. If they get a polo sweater, they're looked at as a little king in Babylon. So you could imagine that there were people in ancient Israel who were enjoying the world, but they didn't accept the Messiah, nor did they accept John, because they were of this world. And Yahushua, was basically giving that full message that my kingdom is not of this world. They were thinking that the Messiah of Israel was just gonna come back and get everybody in Israel together that moment. And but that wasn't the case with Yahushua. So the example I wanted to give for Babylon is, in this nation, you're deemed as righteous if you go to school and you get your degree and you get a job and you start dressing nice. Well, in these schools, in these colleges, what they do is they go there and try to get their degree, and that's seen as righteous by the parents. But when a lot of these kids go to these colleges, they commit a great amount of adultery. The sins that take place in these colleges while they're there, they say, oh yeah, it's just a young life. You know what I'm saying? But that's opposite of the Most High and what he teaches. Okay, so these colleges, parents thinking that it's righteous for their children to just get what they're depending on is they're depending on this nation, but they're not depending on the Most High. Because there's people who say uh, their children, if they go to college, they don't care what they do with their life. You know what I'm saying? Um, so at that point, you have, young people going to college thinking, okay, I'm just gonna live my young little life right now, and I'm just gonna party, I'm just gonna do drugs, I'm gonna commit adultery. And if they, get married after they go to college and stuff, then that's seen as, honorable. But according to the Bible, if you have sex with a virgin, that's your wife. So everything in this society is wicked, but they cover it up with their soft raiment and their clothes. You see? So somebody like John, he looked all messed up on the outside, but really on the inside, he was constantly praying and fasting in his spirit to Yahweh. So that's the breakdown on why did Yahweh Shai say John came neither eating nor drinking, and they say he has a devil. Shalom.